Do you see a situation, do you see a time when we will have full disclosure on what truly transpired with the kidnap of the Chibok girls?
I believe yes. The more of the girls you find, the more information you are likely to find about what took place, how it took place. Well, it's 3 years, it can fill books if you begin to write. The first 21 that came back, they gave the information about the 83 that they said are held somewhere. And our government took the disclosure very seriously. And they through intermediaries, they established contact. And the Boko Haram said, yes, we have them. We are ready to negotiate. And this is what led us to this point. So the point then is, these 82 that are here would obviously be talked to. And some of the revelations would open, I believe, a lot of opportunities, whether they lead to negotiation or military capture, whatever. It's important, and I'm sure the military and the security establishment is very conscious of this.
But there are those who still question. I mean, they wonder if we truly have decimated Boko Haram and, they no longer hold serious capabilities. How come is it that they're able to hide this girl successfully from us?
Because we're a very large country, nearly 1 million square meters. And you don't have enough soldiers to put on every inch of space. That's one. And two, Boko Haram has gone beyond our own borders. It's active in the Lake Chad Basin area and possibly even beyond, having established connection with the ISIS, with their international networks. So who knows? These girls, 82, were received by our people, the military authorities, at a military post on the border. Could they have crossed from several countries?
On the border? On the border of where?
Yeah, Banki is a border town. Banki is a border town in Borno State. That's where the exchange took place. So, of course, the forest, Sambisa, is vast. But then, as I said, you said yourself.
Doesn't it befuddle you as well? Don't you think about it sometimes? Because we also saw a situation where at some point the federal government did take some members of the Bring Back Our Girls movement campaign group and some journalists on their tour of Sambisa Forest to show how vast it was, but to also show that they were on a constant day and night search for this girl. So how come is it, we've combed everywhere and we were still not able to find this number of girls?
Well, you know that it's a mystery that will one day be unfolded. I don't have the answer, but possibilities are many. There are cities underground in other parts of the world now. Japan, Tokyo, maybe half of the city is below. I don't know.
Are you suggesting that perhaps they were kept underground?
They could be.
Mr. Shehu?
Well, given their international connections and all of that, access to maybe resources from ISIS, they could develop a capacity for that kind of thing. I'm just assuming.
I already asked this question, but I'll ask you again. I mean, right now we understand that some Boko Haram commanders were swapped. Initially, Mr. Femi Adesina refused to release the number of people. He said it was a security information, but we did hear that there were about 5 of them, swapped in return for the Chibok girls. Do you think that this number could pose any danger to Nigeria in the future?
No. Let me say that I think at the time Femi spoke to you, also picture was still emerging. And I'm sure he would have objected, as I do, to the use of the word commanders. I am not aware that the requirement is for release of commanders or the action of the government led to the commanders. Yes, suspected Boko Haram. And coming from some of those involved in the intercession, that the number 5 was released. Because we take it is 5. But 5 suspected Boko Haram were released from among the thousands of the suspects that are in the hands of the Nigerian government. I'm not saying it is not significant, but can these 5 go out there and change the ground rules of engagement between our forces And don't forget the fact that they have substantial, you said it yourself, Boko Haram has been degraded. And the military believes that they're just doing a finishing job, cleaning up the place. So therefore, that threat, I think that is misplaced. But let me just leave it at that.
Do we intend to hold this terrorists, suspected terrorists, indefinitely? Do we intend to prosecute them at any point?
I think that the government is squaring up to that. Detention facilities, we already have problems with all of that. And it is only when you subject them to due process and to the law that you begin to decongest the detention facilities. It is a matter of concern that I know has been brought to the attention of the government, and we don't know whether this will be left to the regular courts or perhaps some special courts will be set up. But definitely government is worried, and something soon would happen concerning that.
Let me ask you, Mr. Shehu, some reports this morning indicate that the federal government is in talks with Boko Haram, we don't know which group now, to end suicide bombings. Could you confirm that for us?
No, I'm not in a position to confirm. Well, one thing is, in these discussions at which government is directly and indirectly represented, all of the factions are on the table. So I will not be talking in terms of which one. All of the known factions are on the table. What I know is going on is that there are very strong suggestions coming particularly from those intercessors who have helped us to make progress with these negotiations, that we can widen, the scope of dialogue to just lead to overall peace in the area. And when you consider you lose 5, 10, this 1, 2, 3 days, you lose a number of people. The number of girls you have gained would come to nothing if you add up the number of people you keep losing. It makes sense that this be expanded and that peace be found beyond Nigeria's borders in all of the entire Lake Chad basin. In any case, we're in the post-conflict era now. So the mode should be towards integration and settlement.
I'm just wondering, what's the thinking in government? Do they trust that when these negotiations go on, they can trust them to end suicide bombing, given all of the talk we hear that this is an ideology? If we don't have a de-radicalization plan, can we just say, based on negotiations alone, we can stop suicide bombings?
Well, you must also consider that before we came to this point, it was inconceivable. If anyone told you that the two sides will sit down to talk, they would have said it's not possible. So we are making progress, and the fact that we're here does not rule out a possibility that trust can be established in due course and further progress made.